We have Bill Herrmann, co-founder and CEO of Wilshire Phoenix, and we're gonna talk. Oh, we're gonna talk about a lot of things.
We're gonna talk about it all, exactly. And so to talk more about that is the man himself, Bill. How's it going? How are you doing?
Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Of course, pleasure to have you.
Excited to have you. Yeah, so I'm just gonna start this interview because I have a lot of questions and not a lot of time. Bill, you have worked at BNY Mellon, right, for over 10 years.
That's right.
So why did you decide to take the leap and launch your own company?
I just didn't like it that much there anymore, so just figured I'd change something. No, they were great, and they're actually partners with us on our new on one of our new ETFs that's non-crypto related, but it's a gold ETF, and BNY is a partner of us, and and it's really pretty cool to have be working somewhere for so long, and kind of have them partnered with us as a service provider on a transaction. It's really it's really it's hard to find the words, but sometimes I actually don't think about it that often because we're so busy on doing a lot of things. But it's it's pretty cool to have worked there for so long, and then have that participating on our first ETF. So that's pretty cool. I think I know the real reason I loved it there. It was just I was going to NYU at the time, and being sort of overly ambitious, I was taking I think too many classes, and I was running dealing and trading over there, and it was just a lot to kind of do. It was not, I don't think there's any 9-to-5 job that exists, but I certainly did not have one there, and I was either going to class late, or I remember one time I was and this is when my wife just had it. I flew I can't even make this up. I flew back from Green Bay on Valentine's Day, and it wasn't even Green Bay. It was somewhere obscure in Wisconsin, and I flew back in the snow and then went right to class, and then kind of forgot it was Valentine's Day. And then walked in and was like, "Hey, how was your day?" I'm like, "I'm kind of dead. I'm gonna catch some sleep." And kind of knew something needed to change there. But during that, I think so I had a lot of ideas in my head, and I think that was one of the main reasons of leaving, because I obviously could have pared back a class or something, but Wilshire Phoenix was already in the mind, even though it didn't have a name yet or any employees or anything like that. But I knew there was something else for me.
I'm going to leave all the difficult questions to Aaron. But no, that's a joke, because I have a follow-up. Well, you've mentioned your experience, and that's amazing, because my next question was actually about the business side of things a little bit before we dive into crypto. You are the co-founder and CEO of a company that has, I'm not sure, millions or billions of dollars under asset management, right? So what it takes to run a company like that. So we're looking for answers to people who are running their companies and struggling with them, or who are thinking about launching their own companies. So any business advice, what it's like?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to the actual amount we have under management, but I would say, no matter if it's sort of crypto or in the traditional asset space, I would say one of the most important things is getting that experience first and foremost. It's not just about the experience on sort of how to do the job. It's a lot of getting those key relationships, because it's not like we could just call up Goldman Sachs and say, "Hey, you want to be on this deal with us," or JP Morgan or what have you. There's not a 1-800 number to call. So it's these pre-existing relationships. So, what I would say to, kids that are in college or what have you, even if, I would, especially what we're doing in sort of asset management and things like that, it's really key to, even if you're passionate about crypto, which we all are, is to, sort of get that traditional background first, because it all ties in anyway. And it doesn't really make sense to start a firm and focus on one asset class. That's the view that we take it, but few others do. So we act as traditional, and then alternative assets, i.e., digital assets, for one. But I think it's a mistake there's 7,000 tradable securities on the New York Stock Exchange, and just to focus on one is I think a huge disservice, and it's just a mistake. I mean, even for just running a rational, if you're starting a hedge fund portfolio, what have you, I mean, you could have 60% of the thing in Bitcoin and put 40% in something a little bit less volatile. I think that it's just my opinion. I mean, there's a ton of successful crypto specific hedge funds, but I'm not sure that they, I've heard some things on the street about their, because they're levered up as well too. So, and going in, and those guys don't have a lot of I'm not going to name any names, but they don't have that much experience to be managing that much money on the, and they're not even, hedging it against futures. So, they might as well, the people who are investing in some of these crypto firms are better off just buying Bitcoin themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I confirm that statement.
Word on the street travels fast.
So I wanted to get into the site. So you guys have something really cool in the works, your Bitcoin commodity trust. I want you, if you don't mind, tell us more about that. Because according to the official site, your website, which I'll share right now, it's coming soon. The fund securities are currently in registration with the SEC. Tell us about the process of applying for a trust like that and how it would work if approved. And do you expect the SEC will approve it?
Well, I was just to say, hope is not a strategy. So we wouldn't file for something that we didn't think was going to be approved. Right. And this is not an ETF. And the SEC takes a much different approach on those types of products. And obviously, we went through Wilshire went through the ETF process for about 2 years with the SEC. So I think it's pretty telling when we're not filing, right? I think the market should listen, right? When people say that, a Bitcoin ETF, and same can go for Bitwise too, who spent a lot of time in there. I'm not really sure what Van Eck is doing because they were right there with us and received the same feedback, and nothing has changed. And I think that some of the narrative that goes out on 2021, I mean, there's not a 0% chance of anything happening, but I'd give it a 99.99999% chance it's not happening in 2021. I'll tell you that. I mean, it's just not going to happen. And I can shout off legal reasons or just practical ones, but it's just not going to happen. I mean, we practically lived at the SEC for 1.5 years, and we're not filing for a Bitcoin ETF. Just because the price of something goes up doesn't mean, I think all these, it's respectable institutions that too. And I think they just have a case of FOMO, like, retail investors often do. I mean, it doesn't cost them very much to file an S1. I mean, we could file an S1 on a Bitcoin ETF right now. It doesn't mean anything. It's just, I think I said in an interview last week, they're better off donating the money, because the real costs come when you sort of, you have three sets of lawyers, and, you're traveling to the SEC, you're there for 4 nights, and you're meeting with different teams, different groups, what have you. And, that's not cheap. It costs millions of dollars. So better off donating to, like I said, to Newsweek, charitable organizations. Maybe that's what they're passionate about.
To confirm your opinion, we just today received an announcement that SEC has postponed any decisions of any Bitcoin ETFs and any applications till uncertain time. Again, like it was just in today.
Really? Oh, okay. I've been actually, I actually didn't see that one yet, but that's
I'm sure you'll see that. So unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time, but I do have one more interesting question. So in October, I've researched your site. In October 2020, you published a note that is called Efficient Price Discovery in Bitcoin Markets, right? And in description, it says that you use the analysis with the similar methodology previously employed by the SEC Division of Economic and Risk Analysis to evaluate price formation. My question, I have two-part questions. First of all, was that efficient note efficient? Did it prove efficient? And would you use the same model today?
Absolutely. So I give a lot of credit to my team, especially Alex Chang and Will Kai for running the really difficult analytics behind that. There's nothing really that exists in the space, academic wise or on the business wise, that went as deep we did on the, especially on the time intervals. A lot of the papers that come out are doing 15-minute on the trade size, trade count. We went by the minute or a couple minute. But there's nothing that we would change. And really, I mean, even using the SEC's own methodology, one of their key things is that the futures market leads on the approval of a commodities-based ETF, and it showed that the futures market typically leads the spot market. I think at a clip of around 70% of the time, which is a lot more than more traditional asset class like even silver or other commodities like oil, things like that have a more mature futures market. But yeah, I think that was one of the sort of definitely a key paper, and I think a lot of people or anyone that didn't get to view that, it's available on our, like I said, on our website. It's been published on a bunch of different academic journal sites and things like that. So I encourage people to give that one a read.
So with that model, what exactly did you find?
So using the a bunch of different sort of casualty type methods and sort of just running, sort of seeing how the slippage usually goes and seeing the contribution between the Bitcoin reference rate, which is the CME's BRR, which is the same rate that Bitcoin futures are settled off of. And we found, and just we did the same practice with other asset class. This is a kind of a double blind to make sure our always our software is working perfectly. And we found that the especially using the Granger analysis and things like that, which is sort of a hallmark in the academic world, and mixing that with the SEC's own method. There's I don't think a better report on that subject exists.
My dear producer Aaron, do we have time for the final question?
Yeah, go for it. Absolutely.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on the current market and whether we're gonna reach the very promising goal of the on-chain analyst $200,000 or Tim Draper $300,000 this year?
I think these guys are out of their minds. No, I mean, I think we may hit those amounts. I don't know.
Maybe in the future,
or we may stay in this tight trading range between 30 and 40,000. But to come out with these grand proclamations, it's just stupid, and they need to stop. Guys like Mark Cuban too, pumping Dogecoin. I mean, Mark's claim to success is getting lucky one time and then goes on Shark Tank and everyone looks at him like he's God. Tim, good guy, met him before, but there's a fine line between you're causing people harm, and you may have been one of the reasons why the SEC just said, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on here, but just F it, right? I mean, on this whole thing, because you have respected guys from the traditional space that are coming out just saying crazy things, right? It may or I don't know, right? But is it really going to come to 300? That if I had a bet, probably not. Will it ever? I think so. But to say something crazy like that in 6 months the price of Bitcoin is going to be at $300,000 and not leave any sort of fundamental reason why. I mean, are you just looking for a soundbite, guys? Because maybe they could you guys can have them on next week. I think maybe there's a maybe they didn't get their their sound bites in for the week or something, but maybe they can come in and talk about it. Or I'd love to go. I'd love to talk about it with them.
Yeah,
they make no sense.
That's what I said about those predictions, and my only opinion was that maybe they're trying to pump the coin as well.
That's manipulation.
Fake it until you make it.
I really appreciate your take on that, Bill, because these analyst targets are so crazy, and I've honestly have been waiting for someone to just be like, yeah, they're fucking insane. And yes, we can swear. I'm gonna swear. Whatever.
We appreciate it a lot.
Definitely,
it's
definitely
my pleasure.
refreshing.
I mean, somebody needs to really, and stand up for the investing community, the average person in the crypto market, because they see somebody like, Draper or Cuban, and they come up with these crazy price targets, Dogecoin and and Bitcoin. I think it's completely different than Dogecoin. But Mark is pumping up of Dogecoin and then says, the Mavericks are going to take it for the playoff tickets. I mean, that's price manipulation. If the SEC is going to do something, let's look into him. Because I'd love to see. He says, "Oh, my kid holds it or something, and it's fun for him to hold it." Okay, Mark. Yeah.
No, that's great. I appreciate that take. That's going to make for a nice clip, and hopefully I can send that to Mark, get him on the show, and we can have you guys go at it together.
Yeah, he didn't respond to my tweet the other day, so maybe he'll respond to this.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Let's make it happen. Awesome. So thank you so much, Bill, for coming on the show today. Really appreciate you providing more insight on Wilshire Phoenix and the upcoming Bitcoin Commodity Trust.
And your honest thoughts.
Yes. And your very refreshing, honest thoughts. Very appreciative of that.
Well, that's all you always got from me. So whenever you want to chat again, just let me know.
We're looking forward to having you one more time. We're gonna book you again.
Yes, 100%. And so before we leave today, how about you leave our audience with a bit of how they can reach you, where to go to reach you, or get in contact to find out more information, or anything like that.
Yeah, so just check out either Wilshire Phoenix or WilshirePhoenix.com, or our fund and ETF page, wShares.com, and there'll be some more updates on the Bitcoin Commodity Trust listed there. The coming soon will change soon. That's language that's drafted by our counsel, and I'm not crossing my fingers back there. And there's a reason why I'm smiling, and I guess everyone else who filed today or filed is.
I see.
And
exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
send the announcement my way.
Will do.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you again, Bill. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Same to you guys. Thanks again for having me.
Appreciate it.